good afternoon. I'm Eliza Gaines. I'm the publisher of the Democrat-Gazette. And today we're announcing a new philanthropy initiative that will help fund the future of local community journalism. As you all know, advertising and consumer revenue have been our two primary sources of revenue. We see philanthropy as the third leg of the stool to help ensure our sustainability. We've opened a fund with the Arkansas Community Foundation called the ADG Community Journalism Project. This fund will exclusively support local journalism. And we have a special guest with us today from the Community Foundation, Ashley Coldiron, who is the Chief Development Officer, right over here. And we thank the Community Foundation for working with us on this new venture. I'm also thrilled to announce that Stacy Miller has been promoted to Director of Development, solely focused on philanthropy. Stacy has been with Waco for 19 years. She has a strong passion for our community, for journalism, and for the Democrat-Gazette. She'll do an amazing job in this role, and again, just please join me in congratulating Stacy. And I want to thank Stacy and Mark Lane and Allison Hogue for their hard work bringing this initiative to fruition. I can't imagine a better team leading the effort. So we'll get into the details of how we'll share this message with our community, but ultimately the best ambassadors for the ADG are in this room. You know the time, the effort, and the commitment that goes into our product every single day. Donations will allow us to expand local coverage and more deeply investigate critical issues in our state, which is something I think we can all get behind.
So I want to say this is a very exciting new venture, and first of all, I'm very thankful to Waco Media and the Democrat-Gazette for giving me this opportunity to lead this project. The presentation that we are going to share with you today was created with potential donors in mind. However, this will be posted publicly on our website, and it will also be available for you to share because, as Liza said, the best ambassadors are in this room. Thank you. Next, please. So, again, this is for donors, so it may read a little different to you, but you guys know we're very proud. Everybody who works here is proud to be the state's largest newspaper. We're also proud to be family owned. The Arkansas Democrat-Gazette has established itself as Arkansas's best news source with its extensive reach, and as you'll see on the next slide, the core values of journalism. Yes. And we see these every day in our building and in our newspaper. The public has so many news sources at its fingertips today, but not all news sources are created equal. The Democrat-Gazette has proven over time that we aren't just a news outlet, but we are the guardians of transparency and accountability for our state. So why would we create a community fund? The struggles among our industry are not a secret. We've seen newspapers across the country dramatically reduce the sizes of their newsroom staff, and we've also had to unfortunately see some have to close their doors. But the Democrat-Gazette shareholders have remained dedicated to a robust newsroom. And the Husband family has made sizable commitment to sustain journalism in Arkansas. The proof is in the quality and the size of our daily newspaper. However, to ensure the future of Arkansas news, we need support from our readers and our community. Just as we evolved our digital edition to enhance the product and better serve our reader, we will evolve our business plan to include philanthropic contributions. Why is local news coverage so important? It's the foundation of a healthy and vibrant community. Informed citizens become involved citizens. Philanthropy is not new to journalism. The Seattle Times has raised more than $10 million in community donations since 2013, and the Post and Courier has raised more than $2.6 million in community donations since 2020. Some other for-profit newspapers that have community funds include Tampa Bay, Sun Herald in Biloxi, and Louisiana's Advocate in Times-Picayune. I'd like to give the floor to Allison now and have her speak a little bit about our commitment to quality journalism.
What we're going to talk about is, what I'm going to talk about is how we compare what's our situation currently. Perhaps you've seen the house ads that we've done. You've got one on this slide, don't turn just yet. You'll see that as we do the comparison of the print edition of the Los Angeles Times, we had 40 pages compared to their 28. We had 108 articles compared to their 41. You can go to the next slide. And then here's another example, Dallas Morning News, closer to home. You see that our edition that particular day, we had 44 pages, they had 26. And that's not including the classified section. This is strictly just the news sections. We had 105 articles and they had 65 articles. So what we see are the news product that we have is stout. You hear people, they go to other places, they come here and they say, you know what? They're just amazed at how much we put into our product. Especially because many people know that the journalism industry is undergoing tremendous changes and not necessarily for the better. Let's go to the next slide. Another thing about our content is how we how our content compares with others in terms of, we know that from the statement of core values that our objective is to just simply give the facts and give people the straight information, not with bias. And this is something else that we've run in house ads too, at Fontes Media. They'll look at different news organizations and they determine, who's fact-based journalism, who's got left bias or right bias. And you see where the arrow is pointing, we're smack dab in the middle, not biased toward the left or toward the right. And this has been consistent in several times that they put together this graphic. And the higher that we are on this graphic, it shows that that we're more fact-based as opposed to going down further. This is another reason why people rely on our product. Is they know they can go there and get tons of information, and they know that it's not going to be biased. So let's go to the next slide. This is to show donors that we have a huge array of content in our publication, everything from the arts and sports and major disasters and so forth. And then go to the next slide. The thing that we want to make sure that people understand is that I think people have this idea, especially from watching movies and TV shows, that reporters go out, they talk to some people, and they write a story. What you never see or rarely see in movies and TV shows is how many documents you get from an agency, or how many times you had to contact an agency to try to get information, or when you get something and you can't comprehend what's in there and you've got to go to different sources to have somebody explain it to you. One of my sisters once said to me, it's like you do a research paper every day. And so it takes a real commitment. And the thing is about all this effort that we're putting into doing our product, it's not something that you can just start work today as a reporter and know what to do. You've got to have training and you've got to have experience. That takes time, that takes commitment, and so forth. So let's go on to the, oh, wait a minute. Before we move on to that one, I also wanted to say is that we know that people are more and more relying on social media for their news. The trouble is that the people putting out things on social media may not necessarily be trained journalists. So you have, rumors and bad information getting out there. On to slide 17. So the problem, as Stacy brought up, is that with declining revenues meant, as we know, that papers across the country have been disappearing. The Medill School of Journalism at Northwestern University has a study on the local news situation. And At the end of 2023, they said that since 2005, 2,900 newspapers have closed. There are 6,000 papers left. So, and that newspapers are shutting down at the rate of at least 2 a week. Also, since 2005, the industry has lost 2/3 of the people who were journalists. At the beginning of 2005, or in 2005, there were 75,000 journalists. Now we're down to about 32,000. So the difficulty that it makes for us here in Little Rock is that we're trying to fill positions from a pool of people. It used to be decades ago that people would get jobs in journalism and go around the country, and now they may take a job someplace, and then once they get laid off or their paper closes, then they decide that they're going to get out of the business. So we're hoping from this effort that we'll be able to get enough money and use as a resource to attract people who may have gotten out of the business and maybe want to come back in. The main thing scaring people away from journalism right now is the lack of stability. And so another question, number 18, is what are we going to do with the money? The money will come to the newsroom, and it would go towards things like salaries, training, equipment, anything to make people better journalists and to encourage them to stay. And that is, if you need to travel to a conference, so that's what we would do with it. And so I think that with that message, the important thing here is to make sure that donors understand it's to keep that product that they're relying on and it gives them so much information. And with that, I think I'll turn it back to Stacey.
So transparency is at the core of what we do. Our company is very transparent, and this project is no exception. The Democrat-Gazette has a reputation to uphold as a trusted news source. Editorial decisions will not be guided by donors. That is something very important that we want to stress. Names of donors will be published in the Democrat-Gazette, and then all contributions will be administered through the Community Foundation. And that means that all funds, all donations, everything goes through the Arkansas Community Foundation, not the Democrat-Gazette. Slide 20, please. A donation to the Community Journalism Project is an investment in transparency and accountability. Together, we can grow community awareness and sustain journalism as an institution that is essential to the health of our community. 21, please. We are the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. We are Arkansas's most trusted and most reliable news source, and we tell the stories that shape our state. And the last slide. Our website is arcommunitynews.org, and our first campaign goal is to raise $100,000 in 100 days. Donors have the option to make a one-time donation through the website, or they can also create a monthly recurring donation. And the great thing, though, is that the Arkansas Community Foundation also accepts a variety of other gifts. Including but not limited to real estate, retirement plans, life insurance, personal property, and more. So there are a lot of options for donors for what they can give. And in addition to raising funds for the Community Journalism Project, I will also be looking for grant opportunities to better serve our readers. Together, we will fund the future and keep delivering the stories that matter most to Arkansans. Thank you, guys.
Really, I want to thank Eliza, because we wouldn't be standing here talking about the community project that we're discussing here with local journalism if it wasn't for Eliza's support. So thank you, Eliza. I hope that it's clear to you that there's been a lot of energy and time put into this initiative. Frankly, it's been in the making well over a year, and we feel like it's time now that we come forward with this particular project. Tomorrow, in tomorrow's paper, you're going to see a full-page letter to our readers, from Eliza and Allison. You'll see a marketing campaign start tomorrow as well. Actually, you'll see it start here pretty quick, actually. A homepage takeover, ads in the newspaper, social media, etc. And also, I want to publicly thank Stacy for stepping up in this role. She's going to be amazing, as Eliza said. And Stacy, thank you so much for what you've done so far. And I know we're just beginning right now, so thank you.